got the brand new Space-Time Smackdown expansion set coming to Pokemon Pocket and the trailer releasing. We also got some additional information such as we're getting a new type of card, Pokemon Tools. Hey guys, Zen here, welcome to the channel. And with the news that we're getting Pokemon Tools added to the game, I thought, why don't we look at current Pokemon Tools and see how they could actually fit into a game like Pokemon Pocket. Now, with that being said, a lot of these are made for the official TCG, meaning their effects might be a little overpowered. And my goal is to take a look at each of these cards and see what little tweaks they could have to fit in a game like Pokemon Pocket, if they even need any, such as this Pokemon tool right here. I think it's perfect just the way it is, and I could definitely see it in a game like Pokemon Pocket. Air Balloon, you attach it to a Pokemon, and then the retreat cost of that Pokemon is reduced by 2. Also, it's important to know, I'm sure they'll put this down in like the corner of the card. You may play a number of item cards during your turn. You can play as many as you want. However, you can only attach one tool to one of your Pokemon that doesn't already have a tool. So they're going to have to include that somewhere on the card if they're going to keep it, the same. You're not going to be able to run like 2 air balloons on a single Pokemon and have a 0 out of 4 retreat cost. That's just not how it works. But like for a Snorlax, or what is it, Onyx, Golem, Rhydon, whoever plays that, you can reduce their retreat cost to 2 at least, which is pretty good. I think this would be an amazing card, and it could increasingly make the meta very shaky and terrifying, because conserving energy is very important. You only get 1 energy from your energy zone a turn unless you're ramping. So you don't really want to burn it to retreat, and you don't want to waste a leaf that is a supporter card or any of your X speeds. You'd rather really use them if you needed to. And also, if you don't have to put an X speed into your deck and you can put something like this that provides way more value than X speed, I can definitely see that happening. Now, a modification for Pokemon Pocket, maybe reduce it to 1 retreat cost, reduce it by 1. That I can see it being a thing, so that way it's not super overpowered in this game. But yeah, definitely a Pokemon tool card I would love to see to the game, and I think would tremendously shape up the meta. Now, this next card that I'm going to show you, I really think we're going to get it, mainly because look at this right down here. While I was on this webpage, also this is all on Cerebi.net. Diamond Pearl, Diamond Pearl, Diamond Pearl. It's not the same. It's not time space Smackdown, or it sounds like a WWE special, dude. Pokemon Pocket, what are we doing? But because of that, I'm like, yo, this could work. And honestly, I wouldn't change a single thing if the Pokemon Amulet coin is attached to is your active Pokemon at the end of your turn, draw a card. I think that's super balanced, and I definitely would love something like that. It's Amulet coin. It's the little thing off of Meowth, so it just makes sense. I could definitely see this as a card exactly the way it is, and it would help you thin out your deck and get you to the cards that you need. But if a card like this were to exist, unfortunately, I think red card stocks would go up. And don't worry, guys, that video is coming out. My tips and tricks, currently I have about 8 mistakes I see a lot of people making, so that's going to be in that video. You don't know what I'm talking about, it's for everyone else on the channel. I promised a battle tips video to help you guys improve your battling skills. And but yeah, that's a little sidebar there. I think if this card existed, red card would definitely see a much higher play outside of tournaments, and maybe learning how to actually play red card would be advantageous to a lot of us. All right, moving on to the next one, Assault Vest. This one's kind of iffy. It has a lot of weird verbiage here. Any damage for Pokemon that the score is attached to is attacked by your opponent's Pokemon that have special energy attached to it, reduced by 40 damage. So instead, maybe something like if this Assault Vest is attached to your active Pokemon, it takes 20 less damage from all attacks and abilities. That can be cool. Or maybe even just make it immune to abilities. That would be pretty neat, actually, if we got a tool that made your Pokemon immune to abilities. Hey, Drud, Greninja, who else? Victory Bell, you guys don't matter anymore. That'd be pretty cool, honestly. Moving on to another one, Big Air Balloon. This one, I don't think it would exist, but I honestly would not be upset if it did. The stage 2 Pokemon that this card is attached to has no retreat cost. I think that's pretty respectable, exactly the way it is, because already trying to get a stage 2 Pokemon online in Pokemon Pocket is extremely difficult. So to have it stay alive a little bit longer by having a 0 retreat cost might be an extra reward to say, hey, good job, run more stage 2 Pokemon. So having something like that honestly kind of makes sense to me. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. All right, moving on to Blunder Policy. I I love this card. I'm going to receive so much backlash from you guys, I feel like. And look, it says, no, never mind. It's Sword and Shield. I was like, Brilliant Stars. That's Gen 4, baby. No, it's not. Anyway, Blunder Policy. If the Pokemon this card is attacked to uses an attack that like requires coin flips for damage or the effect of the attack, and if any of them are tails, it says here draw 3 cards at the end of your turn. I think you should just be able to draw 1 card potentially, right? So like flip what's it called? Celebi, and you get tails. Flip, it has to be maybe all tails. It has to be all tails. If 1 head, you don't get this effect maybe because it would be a little bit unbalanced. Imagine getting like 7 heads and then 1 tails and you're still drawing. That's a little unbalanced, you know? So I think something like a Blunder Policy that provides the player a little bit of joy when they flip a tails. Like I would run this on Kangaskhan and never complain. I'd be like, Kangaskhan, Giovanni, do your coin flips, double tails. All right, let me draw a card at least. That would make me feel a little bit better, but that could just be a personal thing. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Blunder Policy. Bravery Charm, it's just you attach it to a basic Pokemon and it increases their HP. Most basic Pokemon's HP are around 50 to 70. So maybe something that gets them up to 100 would be cool. So maybe change this to saying the basic Pokemon this card is attached to now has 100 HP, meaning you can't attach it to like things like Kangaskhan or anything, but you can attach it to a Mankey, and now Mankey has 100 HP or something. It would give them hey, guess what? Turn 1 high roll Articuno. You're not knocking us out any. Actually, wait, no, they do, because we can't activate. We can't activate this until it's our turn. It was a good idea while it lasted. Look at me just running around full circle there. But I think Bravery Charm could be a really cool card to be added to the game. Choice Band is an interesting one. This is the attack of the Pokemon this card's attached to do 30 more damage. Your opponent's active GX or active EX Pokemon. I think the EX Pokemon is important here. So like if you attach this to a card, increase the damage output to EX Pokemon only. I think that could be a pretty neat Pokemon tool added to the game. Focus Sash. This one is specific to fighting type Pokemon, especially with the new Lucario. I honestly think we might see something like this, to be honest. If the fighting type Pokemon this card is attached to has full HP and would be knocked out by damage for an opponent's attack, that Pokemon is not knocked out and the remaining HP is 10 instead, then discard this card. There's a lot of words on this card. And I think because of that, we won't see it in Pokemon Pocket. In fact, I made a video a long time ago coming up with Pokemon tools before they were actually a thing. Dude, I am 2 for 2, you guys. Oh my God. Again, if you guys are regular on the channels, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But maybe a Focus Sash Pokemon type tool that does the same thing, but for any Pokemon you attach it to, and they just don't get knocked out and it burns out. I don't know. Maybe you still lose a prize point, but you don't lose your Pokemon. Actually, that's actually worse. That's actually worse, because then they could just hit you with like a Blizzard, Sabrina, and they still get a double point. So never mind. Ignore that suggestion. Focus Sash could be a pretty cool card though. Leftovers, you attach it to your Pokemon, and then during each checkup phase, you restore 10 HP. Super simple. Let's do that. I think this could be a really cool card. Again, you can only attach 1 Pokemon tool per Pokemon, so it just makes sense. Lumberry, you cannot be affected by status afflictions. No poison, no sleep, no potentially confused burn. God, we're gonna get confused this set. I hope that's gonna be so toxic. But yeah, Lumberry could be a very cool Pokemon tool. Moving on, Lucky Helmet. Whenever this Pokemon is damaged by an opponent's attack, draw 3 cards, but instead maybe just draw a single card every time you take damage from your opponent's active Pokemon. I think that it needs to be active Pokemon, because if you take damage from like a Greninja, actually maybe, yeah, just if you take damage in general, every time you take damage, draw a card. So it might force your opponent to be like, oh, do we want to hit this Pokemon with Greninja? That could be pretty cool. Here's an interesting one. When the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from your opponent's attack, draw cards until you have 7 in your hand. But how about we do something like you draw cards until you have 5 in your hand or something, or until your hand is the same as your opponent's. I don't know, something like Chatot. I think any sort of draw into your 20 card deck will just coincidentally increase consistency in your deck for whatever it does. So that way, by doing that, we can run a little bit more funner, riskier type deck lists that don't necessarily always have the best consistency rates. Maybe something like 2 stage 2 Pokemons, right? So if we have more cards that allow you to draw and tap into your deck, we might very well see stuff like that. But as of right now, Pokemon Pocket is just like, it's very hard. The staple for me is like, you have one full max copies of a stage 2 line, one full max copies of a stage 1 line, and one full copies of like a basic Pokemon that doesn't evolve, like an Articuno or something. And that gives you 12 Pokemon cards, and you fill up the other 8 for help me out here, just item cards, supporters, or whatever. And that's pretty much like the foundation, the basic way to build a deck. It's not for every deck, but like, I hope we get other cards that help us draw, because I think that could be a lot of fun, to be honest. Here's a card that honestly, I don't know. I don't think we'd ever get it, but I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time that I'd be wrong, right? Technical Machine, you attach it to a Pokemon card. It's a Pokemon tool. You use this attack, and then this card chooses 2 of your bench Pokemon, and then you find their evolutions in your deck and you evolve them, right? But maybe we can do 1 Pokemon from your bench and then you evolve them, and your active Pokemon has to use this card. Or maybe even like your active Pokemon has to use it. No such thing as a rare candy, but something like this where it's a tool and you still have to attack, and then this gets burned and you can only do it once, could definitely help you find, you know, that pesky Haunter that's literally on the bottom of your deck and you're trying to evolve into your Gengar. And finally, let's talk about weakness policy. I think this would be a great Pokemon tool card. This Pokemon this card's attached to has no weakness. There you go. You can staple it, throw this into anything except dragon type decks, and just turn every deck into almost like a dragon type deck. But there you guys have it. I just wanted to cover my quick thoughts on the Pokemon tools that we might potentially be getting next week. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But let me know in the comments what you guys are really hopeful for. I genuinely think Amulet Coin, very likely. Air Balloon would be really neat. Blunder Policy would be just a bunch of jokes. Like actually jokes. And some form of Focus Sash would be really, really cool. But there you guys have it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to like the video, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys next time, potentially with some set 2 cards later.